Today we're going to begin by going over the fleet tracker, where we track all of our ships that are in fleets, not all the ships, but all the fleets going on around the world. And right now we have a lot of ships at sea, more than average. Let's begin with the USS Essex and its companion ships. LHD-2 are doing some operations off the coast of San Diego in the op areas there. The Carl Vinson continues its long transit across the Pacific. This is the second week in a row where we see the Carl Vinson carrier group is transiting over towards Japan. That just gives you an idea of how big the Pacific Ocean is, that these fleets that transit at high speeds take a long time to get into this theater. Now, on the Atlantic side of things, we have the Harry S. Truman, CVN 75, with the Kearsarge, doing something. We'll find out. We're going to talk about this fleet here today. The Ronald Reagan and Iwo Jima, we already know what they're doing. We're going on month 2 now into who knows how long deployment in the Arabian Sea, supporting the withdrawal from Afghanistan, which we'll talk about today. And then the American ARG Amphibious Ready Group is in Guam here, and we'll talk about them. So let's see how many ships we have at sea at the moment. We have, if we scroll down here, 296 active duty ships, warships in the Navy. And out of those, we have 107 are underway. So quite a bit of the United States Navy is away from a pier right now. Let's start with the Arabian Sea. Here we have an EA-18G Growler electronic attack aircraft attached to the Shadowhawks of Electronic Attack Squadron VAQ-141. Launches from the flight deck of the USS Ronald Reagan. And there you can see one of the pods. These have multiple pods like this. There's one on the other side too, where they do electronic countermeasures. And these are very, very effective at doing that. All right, the Ronald Reagan Carrier Strike Group is in the North Arabian Sea with guided missile cruiser Shiloh and Halsey, supporting the airstrikes in Afghanistan as needed. So if we need to bomb anybody over there, we have people standing by ready to do it. Carrier Air Wing 5 is with them. Here you can see the MH-60S Nighthawk helicopters attached to Golden Falcons. The Helicopter Sea Combat Squadron, or HSC-12, transport supplies to aircraft carrier Ronald Reagan during a vertical replenishment in the Arabian Sea. These are some of the squadrons that are assigned to Carrier Air Wing 5. The Royal Maces, that's the VFA squadron. Diamondbacks, another Marine Corps squadron. The Eagles, Marine Corps Air Station. Dam Busters, more Marine Corps aviators. Shadowhawks, that's that electronic attack squadron. Tiger Tails is Carrier Airborne Early Warning from the Marine Corps Air Station. Oh, that's where they're stationed out of, is the Marine Corps Air Station. Okay. That may not necessarily make them Marines. I just assumed that they were. May not be. Okay, providers, the VRC-30 detachment of the Logistics Fleet Support. Golden Falcons, that helicopter squadron, and Saberhawks, Helicopter Maritime Strike Squadron. So we have a Sea Combat Squadron and a Maritime Strike Squadron on board. Does anybody in chat have anybody right now in the Navy that's underway? Because we could definitely point them out as we talk about their squadron. Let's move on to these sailors here. Look at these studs. Look at the biceps on that sailor right there. Hell yeah. Not this guy. No, this guy. Look at that. This guy. We might want to, you know what? He's got a Horn Pub account as well. I get it, sir. This guy, he's got no internet access. This guy, internet access. Yeah. All right, so the two sailors stand watch aboard missile destroyer Halsey during a transit of the Straits of Hormuz. Very, very, very dangerous time, because that's when the Iranians like to come out in their little speedboats and harass our boats. Well, they won't be doing it with this gun on here. Yeah. Shoot back at them. All right, USS Halsey is home ported in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. Here's a landing craft, an LCU attached to Assault Craft Unit 2, departs the deck of the Harper's Ferry dock landing ship. Very cool. It's almost like our old World War II Storm the Beaches boat, right? Probably has the same mission. All right, here we are. Here we have a Harrier. Look at this Harrier, Marine Corps Harrier. This is probably operating off of that. I assume it's operating off the Queen Elizabeth here. So it says the AV-8B Harrier attached to Marine Medium Tilt Rotor Squadron VMM 162 reinforced taxis the flight deck of the WASP class assault ship USS Iwo Jima. Okay, so it's not the, this is an American ship, the Iwo Jima, August 13th. The WASP class amphibious assault ship Iwo Jima, Harper's Ferry dock landing ship, and USS Carter Hall LSD-50 amphibious transport dock and San Antonio LPD-17 make up the amphibious ready group. Wow, that's a lot of Marines right there. These guys ready to kick some butt. And then they're backed up and supported by Helicopter Sea Combat Squadron, like we talked about, basically all the squadrons that were just listed above. They're out there getting ready to take some names. Okay, let's see if anybody has a sailor out there. I put that out there. We've retired a few there. Okay. I don't see anybody. I hope I'm not missing it. Okay. I just wanted to give them credit if they were at sea. They certainly deserve it. All right, let's move to the Western Pacific. The Queen Elizabeth is still out there conducting operations in and around the Philippine Sea in the Western Pacific. UK Royal Navy Carrier Strike Group are back at sea following a visit to Guam, which we talked about last week. UK Carrier Strike Group includes Type 23 anti-submarine frigates, HMS Richmond, and F-239 HMS Kent. Type 45 guided missile destroyers, HMS Defender, the Diamond. Oh my God, look at all these ships. USS Sullivan, the Dutch frigate Eversteen, HMS Artful. Holy smokes. This is a huge battle group alongside HMS Queen Elizabeth conducting operations. Very large naval force there. Here they're doing some fit rep, it looks like, or rep at sea, not fit rep. I forget what they call it, but it's where they get stores and stuff on board. Amphibious Readiness Group, USS America LHA-6 is with USS New Orleans and Germantown with the 31st Marine Expeditionary Unit embarked. Awesome. Let's get, oh, look at this picture here. That almost looks like an F-22 to me. There it is. Oh, it's an F-35. Okay, wow. From this angle, the F-35 and the F-22 look very similar. They're certainly not, but they kind of look the similar. 2 F-35C Lightning IIs are assigned to the Argonauts strike fighter group, fly over the Nimitz class aircraft carrier USS Carl Vinson. This is the Carl Vinson that's transiting across the Pacific right now. Carl Vinson deployed on August 2nd and is in the middle of the Pacific currently. CSG participated in a global large-scale exercise. This is the first U.S. naval deployment of the F-35C Lightning II Joint Strike Fighter and the Navy's new CMV-22B carrier on board delivery craft. Very cool. And here we have this is the captain of one of the air wings landing, and he's got the red carpet treatment being saluted by the sailors under his command. Because the carrier air group comes with all their support personnel that are separate from, say, the ship personnel. So on board a carrier, you'll have the ship's captain that is in charge of the ship's crew. You'll often have a Marine Corps commandant because there's a Marine Corps, not commandant, but a Marine Corps officer in charge of the Marines because you'll have Marines on a carrier as well. And then the air wing has its own chain of command. And so this is the CO of that chain of command coming on board. Let's see if we can get his name here. Chief of Naval Operations Admiral. Oh, this is CNO. Oh, shit. This guy's in charge of everything. The CNO, Admiral Mike Gildy, was piped aboard the Nimitz. Okay. Yeah. Everybody's saluting his ass. Oh, man. I couldn't have been more wrong on that one. That's funny. All right. Let's move on to the destroyer squadron that's supporting. We have USS Lake Champlain. Damage controlman fireman Tyson Oliver, a native of Jacksonville, Florida. Yeah, not too far from where I used to live. Points out a mechanical error during a simulated engineering casualty. So you see the orange hat here? This is a drill inspector or drill coordinator. So this person, they'll wear this hat during drills only to mark them as not part of the response team. And they'll be there with a clipboard or something. They usually don't say anything, and they just mark down and evaluate the drill performance. And then whenever the drill is done, all the orange hats get together, they give it a grade or whatever. They brief the chain of command, and they often do a debrief with maybe not the whole crew. I don't know how it works on a carrier, but they'll debrief the wardroom and like the senior leadership, chief's quarters and stuff like that. And eventually you'll get like a written report on how it went. That usually goes to the XO. That stays in the officer land. But that's what's happening here. Is this is a drill coordinator. So like obviously there's no real mechanical error. He's pointing at the simulated error, saying that he identifies it so that he gets a good grade. Okay, in the Eastern Pacific, Bosun Mate Second Class Corey Marks from Houston signals a landing craft air cushion LCAC during a well deck operation aboard amphibious assault ship USS Essex. All right, so yeah, this is off the coast of California here. With all this mist going up, I don't know how they see anything. Yeah. All right. Oh, look at this. This guy's got the best job in the Navy. This is one of the aerographers. They're like the weathermen of the Navy. That would have been a good job for me to have. I think I would have really enjoyed doing this one here. But here is aviation aerographer mates third class David Clark takes wind and environmental readings with a handheld anemometer and Crestel device aboard a WASP amphibious assault ship. So he would be the guy telling the flight crew and the officers, hey, this is our wind conditions today, so you need to be, whenever you take off your plane, take this into account. Very cool job. All right, USS Harry S. Truman, CVN 75, and the Kearsarge are underway in the VACAPES. Kearsarge is underway to support large-scale exercise 2021. So LSC 2021, it ends today. Must be happening in the Atlantic. That's kind of cool. I wonder if they'll have any video or any of that. Usually after a large-scale exercise like that, the Public Affairs Office will release a lot of really cool video of the stuff that they did. I hope they do that so we can share it with you here. Very cool stuff. All right, let's go to the chat and see if you guys have anything to add to this week's Fleet Tracker. Seawolf says, I thought the dream was to be in naval intelligence. Well, for me, yeah, but the weatherman is kind of a cool job too, because I like environmental analysis, which you do in sonar. But it's all underwater. It's not like, above water weather. There was when I was on the Maine, I referred to myself as the underwater weatherman because I was the ship's oceanographer for years. So I had to update all this oceanography data, submit it to the wardroom once a day. But I shared that responsibility with a couple other petty officers so that I wasn't in the wardroom every single day and doing all my other responsibilities because I would have been exhausted doing that. So I usually shared that with a couple other guys. Ginger says, I find it ironic how some of the proud names of the warships have been recycled to non-combat ships now. Essex was a helicarrier and New Orleans is a landing ship. Yeah. A lot of names have a long history of being used in the Navy on various platforms, like the Maine. I was on board a ballistic missile submarine called the Maine, and before that, it was a battleship that blew up in Havana, like in the harbor, right? And started the, was it Spanish-American War or something like that? Yeah, so there's like a whole history behind all these ships' names, or a lot of these ships' names. Very good stuff. Okay, let's go on to the next story here. The next one is USS Arlington and more Coast Guard cutters to join Haiti relief operation. So for those of you that don't know, it was either on Friday or over the weekend, a huge earthquake hit Haiti. And that came right after a tropical storm had hit Haiti. So Haiti got a 1-2 punch that sadly killed thousands of people in Haiti. Haiti's in bad shape right now. So we're mobilizing our Navy, and then they're already there, by the way, helping, provide medical assistance and help Haiti get back on its feet again. We've done this in the past, and we're doing it again right now. Anytime our, fellow brothers down there need help, we're usually quick to offer it to them. So the Navy, while it is a wartime service, it is also a peacetime humanitarian service where we offer help globally because we're in a position to do that. And we take advantage of our position and our logistics support to help nations around the world. And this time it's Haiti. So from the piece written by Sam Legrone of USNI News, he says the U.S. Navy is sending an amphibious warship USS Arlington LPD-24 to assist with humanitarian aid mission in Haiti in the aftermath of the August 14th earthquake, Pentagon officials said on Tuesday. The aftermath of the 7.2 magnitude earthquake has killed at least 1,941 and wreaked havoc across the southwestern peninsula. Almost 10,000 people were waiting for medical assistance, according to the Associated Press. Wow. The Arlington is a 25-ton amphibious warship. It's set to leave later today from Norfolk Naval Station after taking on supplies for the relief operation. The ship pulled Monday afternoon, according to ship spotters. Arlington has been underway as part of the Kearsarge Amphibious Readiness Group, taking part of the LSC 2021 that we just talked about. Well, they came off that duty to go do humanitarian duty, which is clearly more important than a naval exercise. Very proud of everybody in the Coast Guard and the United States Navy providing help to Haiti right now. Very proud to have American flags providing assistance like that. I would like to think that in the 250 some year of the U.S. naval history existing, that we've saved more lives in peacetime than we've taken in wartime. There's really no way to know those exact numbers that I'm aware of, but we help a lot of people in between the wars that we've been a part of. The scale of the devastation is not at the level of 2010's earthquake that devastated the capital, Port-au-Prince, in 2010. That's good. At least it's not that bad. From the piece, he says, we do not anticipate the death toll to be related to this earthquake to be anywhere near the 2010 earthquake, where more than 200,000 people were killed in 2010. That's insane. I had no idea that they had lost that many people in 2010. That's crazy. In 2010, following the earthquake and devastation, the capital Port-au-Prince, the Navy sent carrier Carl Vinson and the USS Baton, Carter Hall, Fort McHenry, Goosen, to support a 3-month operation down there. So again, we have a history of helping out a lot of countries. Haiti gets a lot of help from us, but not just Haiti, around the world. We help every time there's like a major natural disaster like that. Sadly, as far as submarines are concerned, we rarely are involved in these because we don't have the facilities. We would just be in the way if we were assigned to that. But the surface ships, though, they certainly have the aircraft. You know, helicopters are so important whenever it comes to medical assistance and getting people to hospitals and medical care quickly, especially in nations that may not have the infrastructure that we have, especially aboard on ships. Yeah, 1,900 people plus died from this recent earthquake. Very, very sad. Yeah. Branch says, you might have answered this already, but what actually is an LPD? Oh, that's it's this ship right here. It's an amphibious warship. Yeah. You see how it's got the helipad right here? It's got the radar mast right there. It's got 2 of them. It's got some small boats right there. Can I zoom this in? There we go. You guys can really, this is an LPD right here, folks. Right there. Yeah, earthquakes are scary. If you're in a building during an earthquake, it'll stop your heart. Yeah, it's really terrifying because you're thinking that there's a chance that this building might come down with you inside of it. Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. Yeah, it looks pretty badass. This thing is, it's clearly a warship. You know, normally this would be supporting Marine Corps units along with a fleet. But yeah, it's a really, really cool ship. Very proud to see him helping out people down there. All right, let's go to the last story of the day. Is the last Oliver Hazard Perry class ever built just got pummeled to death in a live fire exercise. I hate to see this, but it's good for the environment. Before they tow these ships out there to be sunk, they make sure they clean them up so there's no oil in the engines anymore. They drain all that crap out so it can't cause an environmental disaster when it sinks. And it's a very empty boat whenever it's sitting out there. And sometimes a credit to the design of these ships is even after being pummeled by bombs and missiles and gunfire, these things stay afloat for hours sometimes. So we'll read a little bit from the piece here of the ex-USS Ingram and see how long it lasted during the live fire exercise. Written by Mr. Tyler Rogaway, by the way. Tyler says from the piece, On August 15th, 2021, this is just a few days ago, the U.S. Navy led an execution of sinking, or SINKEX, off the coast of Hawaii as part of an ongoing, unprecedented, massive, large-scale exercise. So this large-scale exercise is taking place both in the Atlantic and the Pacific. That is truly a massive exercise. And I'm glad that we're practicing that, a two-ocean war. You know, we got to be able to coordinate, you know, units on multiple sides of the globe. Anyway, going back to the SINKEX. The SINKEX is not known yet, the SINKEX just yet, but multiple types of weapons were involved, including the Super Hornets air-to-ground missile 154 joint standoff weapon, the JSOW, and the stealthy strike missile, the NSM, naval strike missile, launched from Marine Corps unmanned ground-based launch vehicles. Really, that's kind of cool. So autonomous ground vehicles are launching anti-surface missiles from ashore into the thing. They also employed harpoons, which is probably why it's on fire. Something that's unique to the harpoon warhead is that it's designed to shred the insides of a ship and set it on fire. So all that lagging and insulation that's flammable, it gets shredded. So there's a lot of surface area, and then it gets set on fire with the high explosive warhead, causing it to burn. Okay, there's likely to be a number of other weapons that were fired at the frigate too, typically in this case during SINKEX, which are prized and infrequent training during operations. Yes, I was part of a SINKEX in my career. We sank the USS Bainbridge, and the final coup de grace was to be a live war shot ADCAP, shot from a submarine I was on to break the back and sink it. Sadly, the surface gunfire and the Airedales with their Rockeye bombs, little cluster bombs, had done so much damage to the Bainbridge that it sank on its own. It didn't need us to help it. But yeah, I really wanted to shoot that war shot though. I wanted to have that little feather in my cap of having shot an ADCAP war shot, but no, everything I've shot has been training. Okay, incorporated the U.S. Navy Marine Corps ship interdiction system, the Nemesis, is a major development in the SINKEX. The system uses an unmanned vehicle based of the Joint Light Tactical Vehicles chassis. This is a picture of it right here, folks. Uses an unmanned vehicle based on the Joint Light Tactical Vehicle chassis, known as Remotely Operated Ground Unit Expeditionary, or ROGUE, fires that carries a twin naval strike missile launcher. Look at that. So this little chassis here doesn't have a human driver. This is controlled, you know, from far away, remotely. So they drive this little thing out to wherever. It's got 2 box launchers on it, each with 1 missile. And this is a rather stealthy missile. So even though it's not hypersonic or anything like that, it can penetrate and get close to its target before it's ever detected, just based on its stealth characteristics. Very cool weapon. That's the NSM, everybody. Okay, the concept is to set the underpin of the Marine Corps new expeditionary anti-ship capability, which is a core component of a major remodeling of the force. So the Marines are going to be doing a lot of anti-ship stuff from ashore. I think that's very smart, because one of the lessons we learned in World War II is sometimes the carriers that are protecting the landing craft for weeks on end as the Marines conduct operations in Pacific Islands, sometimes the protection gets called away to take action against an incoming threat. And so if the Marine Corps can defend themselves with their own surface-to-surface missiles, that's an additional capability that they may need when they don't have the U.S. Navy there all the time. We learned that lesson the hard way in World War II. During a live fire drill, 2 naval strike missiles were employed. One from a launcher delivered from a C-130. What? A C-130 can shoot this thing too? I didn't know that. And the other one was delivered by an LC. Oh, just delivered, not literally shot from. Okay. And then the naval strike. Okay. I completely misunderstood that sentence. It was just brought to the war game by a C-130. Here you go. This is it right here. Being brought to the war game. And then it was operated. Look at this. Remotely driven Jeep, essentially. Very cool. The Navy has finally found a purpose of the LCS, the amick SINKEXs. Yeah. I still like John's idea of selling them to the Coast Guard. I think they would be a good Coast Guard ship. Yeah. All right. Here you can see the crew is attaching a JSOW to an F-18. Very cool. Looks like there's like some kind of camera right there. Yeah. This whole thing is like a missile. Very cool. Hey, and it's taken off with it right there. It looks like it only has one. Oh, what a crazy takeoff that is. To have one weapon on one wing and not the other. I would hope he's got something over here to help balance it. His trim is all jacked up. If he's doing that. Oh, and here's a picture of the ship. It's got flags, so this is not from the live fire exercise. This is from 2008 right here. Okay. Wow, so they had the Perrys as recently as 2008. This is a very old design. The Perry was in service before I even joined the Navy. Matter of fact, whenever I went to the recruiter, we got a chance to tour an Oliver Hazard Perry that was visiting Tampa Bay before I went to boot camp. And I got to walk around the decks of her as a, what did they call us? We weren't even recruits. We were like prospectives or something like that. Prospective sailors or whatever they call the people that I had signed the contract, but I hadn't gone to boot camp yet. I was in that in-between period. Yeah. Very, very cool. Okay. Let's see what chat has to say about this. The new P8s are equipped to fire live harpoons. Yeah. Yeah. The new P8s are being modified to have rotary launchers internal to them now as well. They're doing a whole revamp of the P8 program. It's called the RP8 now is one of the new variants. And I'm not sure what the R stands for. Maybe it's recon, but it's RP8. And they're going to be arsenal planes that can carry a lot of weapons because I guess that's a good platform to do that with. Prospects. Thank you. Yeah. We were prospects.